Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 Automation, the series where I try to automate as much as possible as this game so we don't have to manually drive these things around. We can just watch the money roll in. Let's get started, and just to give you a brief update what I did between the episodes, I basically seeded both of our fields and fertilized them. They both are fine, they both have the crops, so we're sort of ready for them to grow, but we need to get a few tasks automated before we get there. One is sending our tractors to the shop. And really the reason we can do that is probably want to record this manually, I'm afraid. We can't really just generate this one. We basically record a course for those tractors. So if we imagine we start here, we can basically say we're on this, see this sort of mode. Can't really select any other mode, but this mode, let's just record a like point-to-point course. So that could be going to a particular building to sell stuff, but that could also be going to the shop. So we're going to start with going to the shop. So I'm only going to show this once. So start course recording, and you're now recording. You'll see the start location, and you can stop it if you wanted to and create waypoints and all kinds of other stuff. We'll come on to what those are later. What we really just want to do for this is just record the course between here and the shop. So that is sort of obeying as much of the traffic laws as you can, or you can just turn traffic off if you really want to. And I'm just going to go this way, and there we go. We're going to record this going all the way down to the shop, and then want to record another course coming back from it, and then we can just send the tractors on the way, and we'd never need to drive down here ourselves ever again, really. They may have problems with traffic, but that's a different thing entirely. Let's just get around this corner. And if we just say here is the stopping of the recording, and then we're going to actually save this course as 0 FS, so farm to shop. So if we have a look in manage courses, you'll see it always appears at the top, and that just makes it really easy to actually select this in the future. What have we got here at the shop? Well, we've got a weeder. So we're going to need to eventually weed these crops. So having a weeder available is a good idea. So I'm out here in the fields, and I've got time running forwards at 120 times normal rate, just so we can get to the point at which we need to do the next action. I brought the weeder back from the shop. It's probably the biggest version of the weeder we can actually buy. If you press P, it's down here. It's this one, 45,000. So we're down to 227,000 out of our first 1.25 million. And yeah, so we're really looking for the first point at which you'll see, for example, a lot of those other fields need weeding now. We want the same thing to happen on ours at one particular point, but it's going dark, so yeah, we may have to wait till the morning. Depends on when it happens. What I don't want to do is miss that first weed stage. Oh, there it goes. Let's just slow things down. You'll see. There we go. It's sweeping. It's growing very north to south, these weeds. Let's just increase that again, and there we go. Okay, so there's now weeds, and we'll see if our weeder can actually cope with that. So we have to do this a little bit in the dark, but we have light, so that's not a problem. Let's head in here, and we can look at some course options. Now, I deleted the original courses just because we've got some improved options here, and I wanted to make sure that they were available. So back in course generation here, we're going to go for this fieldwork again, and we're going to go to course generation. Now, if you remember last episode, I chose some options here. Let's choose field 20. And headland, I chose round. We're not going to go for a round, because what happens with that is, let's just generate this. Well, it's a really small field by comparison to this, so it's actually not too much of a problem here. But when it gets to this corner, in order to cover the entire field, it's not going to turn. It's going to end up doing like a U-turn, like a 3-point turn, and then going this way, and then a 3-point turn here, and then going this way. When we have a larger fields, it'll be easy to actually... In fact, let me just actually change vehicle. Let me just go to this so you can see this a little bit easier. So I'll start the engine. Yeah. Go backwards. This is the subsoiler, I think. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm just going to delete the existing course that I've got loaded, and fertilize and seeding, or is it field? But it shouldn't matter either way. So course generation. I'll just turn the engine off. Course generation. There we go. Now this should have a small enough width that we can see the difference. So field 20, headland, if we went for a round, let's just generate that. You know, see there's only one headland, so we can increase the number of headlands. And there we go. So that's going to go around, but it's going to have these problems in the corners. So if we're going to have that kind of thing, instead of going around, we can go for short edges and increase the number of headland passes and do that. That's not exactly what I wanted. Why are you not... let's just generate that again. There we go. Yeah. So with 3 headland passes, it's going to go basically at each end. And then when it goes into the up and down mode, it should be able to turn around in the headland. But these are quite narrow. Remember, the tool on the back of our tractor is really kind of small, and the tractor takes time to turn around. So instead, you can then use skip rows. And what it will then do is when it goes up and down, up a row, instead of going back down next to it, it will skip 1 or 2, and then go into the next row. So if I do this, you'll see there are multiple overlapping rows, and it has a better chance of covering the field while turning around more quickly than before, let's say. And if there's an optimal way to do this, put it down in the comments below and we'll take a look there. There's another option for, I think, narrow field, and that's more like British kind of farms whereby the stone walls directly surrounding the field. So there's absolutely no chance of turning things around. That is pretty much the same, except that it's skipping rows but with no headland essentially. So that's fine. But we can just go with headlands on the short edges and do something like that. So that should work. But we're not going to start there first. We're going to go and weed because we now have to. And let's just generate that course. So course generation for the weeding should be a lot simpler. But I would like it to sort of overlap and not have missing bits in the corners. So let's have a look. So if we go for... it's not going to be much of a problem. Why don't we just go for it's like a spiral pattern for this one. So we can go for a round and anti-clockwise, and let's see if I can generate something that's reasonable. Okay, I'm going to try this. It's a spiral essentially. So if we're looking to course generation, in fact I can't do that because well, I've got the preview on here. You'll see it looks like it's going up and down. I'm not. It should be going up to that end, turning, going around here, turning, and then going in a spiral. And I've adjusted the working width so that it isn't the same width as the actual tool, which it should be, but this should mean that you get even rows. There should be a fair amount of overlap between the rows. This is like 15 meters wide. The working width in the course generation is like 13.3 or something, and it ends up just basically being nicely evenly spaced. Now, if we have a look at the map, you'll see now you see all the weeds are being wiped out, which is exactly what we wanted to happen. And can you actually turn? Interesting. So yeah, it is outside the field boundary a little bit. That's because that's where it's actually choosing to go. You'll see it's going to try and turn around and get the corner of the field. So we'll see whether this covers the field entirely. Looks like it hasn't at the top, but then it hasn't... yeah, that's sort of like where it figures it's turning around. So we'll have to see how well it comes out. So let's skip forwards until it's actually finished with the spiral, and let's see if that works. And yeah, that's worked fine so far until it gets to the middle two where it can't really turn around in time. So in these last 2 runs up and down, it kind of has to do some sort of, well, 3-point turnish. It's working on the field and it'll back up in a second, or it should back up when it's figured out. Well, in this last one, maybe it's having a problem. However, in most of them, it will figure out it needs to do a 3-point turn. It should figure out this last one in a second, and then it can fill in that last row. And this one is then ready to do in the same kind of approach. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing for this next one, and we'll skip forwards. And it's finished its course. It was almost good enough. Just some bits of problems at the top and bottom end. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of that course for a second, and then I'm going to start a manual course recording. And we're just going to run manually across the top and bottom, and then append that to the original course. So this should then get run, in sequence. So I want to do this end. This is going to be the end of the course. So I think what I'll probably do is it's going to finish over there somewhere. I probably should move this around, but I'm just going to record. I'm just going to do this from a sort of concept point of view. So start course recording. I'm going to lower lower the weeder. There we go. And just run across the bottom here. And then we're going to lift the weeder at the other end and then go all the way up to the top and just do this manually. So you can imagine I'm not going to do this on camera, but once I've finished the course recording, I'll show you how to merge them and we'll go from there. There we go, that's now done, and I've removed the course, it's not loaded, and then we're going to load the weeds basically first, and then what we're going to do is click on this button to append the headland, the 2 runs I've done on either end, after it. So we'll then save that, and then we'll save this whole new thing as 19 complete weeding. Okay, and that should be that actually done. If we just go to the map for a second, you'll see there is no many weeds after I've run both of those courses. And if we just go to the sort of preview mode, we can see what I've done here. So it's going to go up, down, up, down, up, down. When it gets to the final one, it's going to go from around about here all the way to this side. It's going to have to turn around. That's where you might have to, you know, you're probably best to go down this way, up, and then go at the top, and then down, back at the bottom. Make another spiral pass, basically. But I can adjust that later, because I've got the 2 original courses. And then it will go around, cut the top and cut the bottom, and everything should be nice. You'll see there's a tiny spot of weeds right there that's sort of annoying, but other than that, the fields are growing just fine. And we've now got to probably fast forward time again and get out of this nighttime mode so that, well, you can see a lot more, and so can I. The easiest way to do that, if I remember rightly, is to basically sleep at the house, and I just have to remember whether that's still an actual option. Wage payment, yes. Let's get this detached. And you can get detached, there you go, and we can turn you off. Lights out would be good. No, you're not going to have lights? F, there we go. All right, back to the house, and I appreciate it's dark, but we should be able to sleep in here. Let's just slow things down to 1 times, and do I get the option to sleep anywhere? That would be nice. Maybe not. Oh, hang on. Yes, R. Sleep. What time is it now? It is 9 o'clock, so we want to probably get to dawnish, so 5 a.m., so 7 hours. Why can't I sleep? You didn't give me the option to sleep when I cancelled out of it? Oh, that is so... Really? Oh, really? And there we go. It's 5 a.m. We've got a loan interest, we got some vehicle leasing costs, and we've got property maintenance. So we're going to speed up time again until we can see a little bit. You can see the dawn is coming in over there. And you just have to move away from the house and move back again. It's fine. It's just weird that it actually requires that to happen. Anyway, it looks like our crops have grown to at least the first stage. Let's just take a look out here. And my flashlight shouldn't be needed from now on. There we go. So yep, first stage of growth. That's pretty cool. So we can change from soil composition to this. And you'll see it's got 1 more stage of growth or 2 more stages of growth to actually go before we were able to harvest. So yeah, we're going to skip forwards using the time warp, which is what we're currently doing, until we get to the harvest point. Speaking of harvesters, a couple of things you need to know. First of all, when you're generating fields, harvesters are a bit particular. You see this pipe? This pipe is going to pull out from the sides to where your wagon is waiting, and you can automate both of them. But in order to actually do that, you want this to the left not to be over the crops you've yet to actually harvest, because if you do that and you drive over them, it can get destroyed. So we're going to make sure that the whole harvester runs in a clockwise fashion around the fields, because this will always go out to the outside, or something like a clockwise. It always goes to the outside then, so it's always over as it actually works its way around, because it's on the left hand side. It's always over stuff you've already harvested, and you don't have any problems. So in here it's straightforward. Otherwise, if we just basically unfold the harvester, unfold the harvester, you'll see what I mean in a second, and pull the pipe out. Now, once you get started on with courseplay, this will automatically happen when the harvester is full. It will stick out this pipe, and then you can go and pick up your crops with a manual wagon. You can also automate it, so the wagon will get driven alongside by a tractor with a different worker. I'm not usually as bothered with that, in that I don't mind picking stuff up and selling it. I actually don't want to actually do the harvesting work itself. So let's pull that back in, and let's wait for the harvest the harvest stage to be ready. Are you ready yet? Not quite. Wait for a second, or a few minutes for me, a few seconds for you. Well, there we go. It's 5:30. This crop grows amazingly fast. It grows in just one day. We have basically 2 fields worth of soybeans. So we're going to take the same approach as I did for the weeder, but for the harvester. I think I'm going to run a manual headland course first, just to get rid of the top and the bottom of the fields. Now, we could do that automatically, but I don't know. I haven't seen an option for you to just run the headland option, i.e. not the rest of the course. And in that case, I would want to basically make sure that this thing turns around on the ends of the field, but that the ends of the fields are already gone by the time it gets to that particular point. So I'm just going to go line this thing up, and I will record a course, and then I'll bring you back once it's actually started running. But you get the idea. I'm just going to, what are we going to do? Yeah, I'm going to leave it unfold, turn on the harvester, press B, and it should start bringing it down. Yep, there it goes. And I'm just going to run this course. So I need to basically, no course loaded, good. Start course recording, and just head across. It's never going to fill on this end of the field, so that's not going to be a problem. But it should give us a little bit of a nice working area. And do I have the straw swath? No, I don't. So I'm just basically discarding the straw swath. There's nothing really much I can do with it at the moment with the current equipment, but later we probably can and actually reuse the straw. That's for something else. However, I'll see you once I've finished this first course, and I'll show you the rest of the course generation. So here we are at the top of the headland. We'll just get to the end of this row and turn off the harvester, and then we're going to do a left-hand turn. And that shouldn't get stuck anywhere. And this will then be ready here. Okay, so we'll stop it right there. Save it. And then let's save this course as 19 harvest headland. Okay, save. Now I'm going to get rid of that course for a second, and we're going to go into course generation for harvesting. Grain transport, combi, fieldwork should do. Course generation. So let me just turn off the engine for a second. There we go. Don't want to waste fuel. Yeah. So, whoops, not start course recording. Whoops, that's course generation. So yeah, here on 19, we're basically going to have to start in a manual area. So let's just go to 19. We want this in a spiral pattern and no headland at all. I've done that manually. We want the start position to be the northeast, because we're going to string these courses, and our manual course is going to be, oops, other way. Needs to be south. Have I missed? Did I miss that? West? East? No. Can I not have? Why can't I have south? What? That doesn't make no sense. Okay, let's just go for automatic. Longest edge, maybe that will actually work. Okay, fine. Let's see what it generates. That's no. Well, no, it's not too bad actually. Is that actually spiral? It does look to be spiral, and it is starting at the top end, which is where I am right now. Good, and that will work its way around. All right, so let's give that a try. So skip rows 0. Well, you could do skip rows, but then the problem with skip rows is the pipe always needs to be out to the left, and if you skip a row, that pipe will be out over the crop. So we're not going to skip rows. This thing may have to turn around. In fact, no, it doesn't even need skip rows because it's spiral. That's fine. So, yep, generate the course, back out, and let's preview this. So let's take a look at what the course looks like on the field. There it is. It's going to head down that way first. So we're going to start this at the first waypoint. And I'm going to tell it to drive the course. Now, and later I can then save this. I'm going to save it now. 19 harvest, save, and drive the course. So it should turn, hopefully. Yeah. And it should work its way down the field. Hopefully not killing any of the crops to start off with. And then go around and around. And eventually this gauge at the bottom right will fill, and this thing will stop. It'll wait for us to pick things up, which means we need to go and pick things up with another tractor, which is fine. We have other tractors. This has that on. I think I'm just going to turn this on. And then you could automate this. I'm not going to start by automating it. We'll go into that later. It's more of an advanced thing.
And instead, we're just going to have this wagon available. And then you can just go alongside the harvester whenever it says it's ready. It'll send you a message when it's ready. And yeah, pick up your money effectively, because that's what you're going to do with it. Now, once it's in the wagon, if you had a silo on your farm, you could leave it in the silo until the prices were good. However, we don't have that luxury just yet. So we want to just take a look at what the prices are, wherever that is in here. There we go, so prices. We're looking for soybean, which is this one. And you can see it has, Port Northwest has the highest price per litre at the moment, but it's coming back down. And then the next one is train station mill. So you have to transport it to one of those two places. So Port Northwest would be in the map. Port Northwest, you'd assume it would be on the northwest. So yeah, all the way up there. And again, you can do the same thing. You can record a course from your farm onto a road and just call it farm to northwest or something like that kind of thing. And it will happily take your goods all the way over there. To get started, I'm probably going to drive it there manually, because that nice little automated harvester over there is just going to make money until we're full, really. Okay, the other thing I changed as well in the options, and something you may have, or someone noticed last episode, is that I didn't have this option on, where's the option now? Helper refill. I had all these on, so the fuel was never going down in the vehicles, neither was the seed or the fertilizer or anything else. I've turned those off now, so that technically we will need to go and automate the sort of refilling, or automate as much as possible, the refilling of pretty much the lime and the cedar. So that is these and this. So this contains fertilizer and seeds. This contains lime, and both of those are back at the shop. Can't think of a way to completely automate that, but if someone can, put it down in the comments. Anyway, you can certainly run things down to the shop and just refill things quite quickly and get it going that way. And here, just showing the harvester itself, it's getting to the headland area. There is this double overlap line just because of the working width of this harvester. There's that double line on the right hand side there. It shouldn't have any problems with the rest of the field. You can just sort that out by just reducing the working width on the course generation. I'm not going to bother too much. And you'll see it is able to turn around here and should continue harvesting just fine. There we go. And shouldn't have any gaps. So yeah, pretty happy with it overall. And just to see how much the soybeans are actually going to be worth for like a third of a wagon full, I'll fill that up next to the harvester by driving alongside. And then we're going to head over here, hopefully to somewhere where I can actually dump this and see. It's going to be that area right there, I think, just next to us on our left. So I'll spin this around and let's see how much money we get. So we've got 225,000. I've got a third of a wagon, or thereabouts. And here we go for the Port Northwest. And let's drop that. So, yep, press I. And that's dumping. So, third of a wagon is about 5 grand. Okay, at least at the current prices. And we're also just going to, obviously we started 1.25 million, so 5 grand seems like a small amount. But remember, you know, that 1.25 million is just your starting capital. You start to get a lot more money once you start getting more valuable crops. But for the time being, I'm just going to head back now, and this is not the tractor to do this with. Do this with your faster tractor if you need to do this. But I'm just going to go and grab some fuel. I hope I can fill in here. Will you let me fill? Yes, start filling. And that's full. Cool. And 21 pounds. Yeah. Hit the UK. Petrol is quite expensive. Well, it's going to be diesel. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how much tractors need or how much the total tank size is. Anyway, back to the farm. And we'll see you back there. But just to check for the automation, I created a course in this one here. So not grain transport, but combi. And I'm just going to tell it to drive the course at the first waypoint in here. And we'll just see if it actually automates the unloading of this. I hope that it does, but if it doesn't, then, you know, I'm sure we'll figure it out. So it's going to just turn around, and then it's going to drive over that point. And let's see if it actually unloads automatically, or if I need to add manual unloading points. Looks like it is going to unload. Are you? Yep. So all I really need to do is create a course recording in that mode, and it will just bring the stuff up here all the way from the farm and then hold it all the way back down again. and you see it's just heading out again afterwards. So that's pretty good. It's exactly what I was hoping for, and our harvest so far has brought in like 20 grand. There's a little bit more, but that's 20 grand for one field, and there's probably about 10 in the other. So, you know, about 30 grand per harvest. That's not too bad. But yeah, that gets us going for this episode. And as you can see here, the entire first field, well, second field is done. This first field is probably, I don't know, maybe, yeah, it's probably about half the size. So yeah, later on we will be extending the field. What I'm going to be doing is getting a plow back, and then we're going to be able to run it all the way across there, all the way down, and then we can bring it all the way down here, and we can have a field that's almost twice the size of 19, and run the entire set of crops on that one larger field. You'll have to get Courseplay to rescan that field because it's not like a standard field that's in game, but we'll do that. That's not going to be a problem. And later we'll probably want to expand to this field 21 that is ready to harvest, but it's not our field. And you'll see, oh, this field now needs lime as well, so I'll go and get that sorted. And then we can get everything started all over again, really. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this episode. We've got a fair amount done. We've got our first harvest in, lots of money. We can afford another piece of well, even sheds or something, but maybe even something attached to one of the tractors. I'm not going to be worried about it for just now. I think we've got everything we need for a few soybean harvests at least, and then we'll go and look at buying maybe another tractor and have more things running. How much does it cost for more land? If we want this land, it would cost us 281,000. So what we could do is just basically do a few more harvests, and then we can afford a third field, and that will well, you can look at this relative to size of the fields. It's pretty large by comparison. Does it not show you what the exact size of the fields are? It would be nice if it did, but yeah, never mind. The other option is you can go into financials, and then you can get a loan. Yep, so you can borrow more money. We already have, oh, in fact, hang on. Balance, loan. Well, we've got money to actually pay back. So yes, you can actually borrow more and then buy more land with it. But I'm not going to worry about that just for the moment. We'll see about further options in the next episodes. But for now, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and we'll see you next episode for some more Farming Simulator 19. I'm off to go and record some more Stationeers now because I pressed exit instead of save, and I have to redo one of the episode's amount of work before I start recording. So annoying sometimes. Anyway, see you next time for some more Farming Simulator 19. As always, guys, thanks for watching.